night
So
for a few
7 a.m.
days.
for 7 a.m. for you too.
Yeah. No, I'm up
Would you?
early anyways.
Oh, you are? Okay, cool. Hey, I appreciate you doing this. Hey, dude, do you own seven Acai Republic
Nah,
franchises?
I own one. I
You
own the
do
one
own
in.
one.
Yeah, I own the one in Orange.
How did you get into that? That's awesome. When did you get into that?
Uh, about 2 years ago, just wanted to I liked their product before I even got into the franchise. Something healthy, and
Uh-huh.
obviously fighting's in. Like during that stunt, I wasn't fighting. I had like some health problems and stuff. So I was able to like can I invest my money. I'm pretty good with money in the sense like I save. I'm very like frugal.
Uh-huh.
Thanks to my manager, he showed me
Uh-huh.
how to save money and stuff. So obviously fighting's not gonna last forever. So I got to find different ways to make revenue. So that was one of the ways I decided to do it, just because I believe in the product myself. You know.
Yeah, yeah. It's really cool. Are you glad you did it 2 years in? Are you glad you did it? Like, are you like, oh yeah, that was smart?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, not having a like background in business and especially in restaurants. I've worked in restaurants in the past, but um, yeah, learning curve a little bit. But I'm glad I did it. It's opened up different opportunities for me, just in general all around, and it's you know what I mean. It's put me in a place where like okay, like kind of like what excites me is that something new. I have to learn. I have to work. You know, instead of doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's like hey, this is completely different. I have to work. I have to ask questions. I have to find different mentors in this space, things like that. Where like everything else I do, I already have my mentors. Like if I want to talk about financials, I go to my manager Jason House because I was with him when he first started managing guys. You know, where
Uh-huh.
he had like three guys in the UFC. You know, wasn't making the most money kind of thing. I lived with him. I seen how the struggle was at the beginning to see where he's at now. Has over 100 guys in the UFC. Has this. Has you know. Has his house. Has his business. Has everything. Like he's the
Has a
guy I go to
beautiful
for.
wife. Has a That's
Yes.
what I
Has
always remember when I see Jason House. I'm like, "Oh, he's got a hot
yes.
wife." Yeah.
Yes. You know. So I've seen him grow from. I mean, I wouldn't say a kid because he's older than me, but from a like young adult to where he is now, and all the knowledge he's learned. You know, things like that. Um,
Hey, dude.
so it's definitely interesting.
Hey, running a business in California isn't easy. Did you have thoughts on the minimum wage increase?
So yeah, I did have thoughts on that. It sucked. But since I don't have X amount of franchises, like
Uh-huh.
since Acai is not the biggest franchise, like I think you have to have over X amount of franchisees for it to go up. We're still considered a small business, so minimum wage it didn't go up for us. But yeah, it's hard. I seen a lot of businesses go out of business. You know, especially like my hometown, a lot of guys closed down. Like it's called Foster Freeze. They closed
Uh-huh.
down. They've been here for years. They closed down and stuff like that. So definitely
Because of
impacted.
because of that law?
Yeah,
Isn't it bizarre that these laws are supposed to be helping people, but they're hurting people? I don't get. I never hear the success stories of minimum wage increase, and then I heard like 10,000 jobs were lost in California. It's like it's almost like it's an attack on the middle class. And then the other day, I saw this thing that Trump wants to make one of the things he wants to do when he gets into office is he wants to make it so tips aren't taxable. And I fucking love that because then if I'm working, I'm incentivized to be like crazy nice to the um, patrons, right? So that I
yep,
can get tips because that's like free money, right? Just
yeah.
smiling, saying thank you. Napkins are over there.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me how like just in general. Like I have a young son. It's crazy to me how in general the art of communication is being lost through you know these last couple years. Like I look around and this happens in my house too, where we're having dinner and then you look around and I'll be on my phone, like you know things like my son will be on his iPad. I'm like, well, what are we doing? Um, and two with the tip thing, like I agree with Trump, like that would be awesome. But I think people have to realize too, in my head, you're getting paid to work. A tip is extra. Like a lot of people, like I see these videos of people saying like, "Oh, well, you didn't tip me." Da da da. A tip is not required. Like you're working. Like you don't go out there and tip the trash man. You don't go out there tip the guy that's putting your groceries in a bag, right? That's just my opinion.
No,
So I
no,
think that
I totally I agree 100%.
but I believe that now with this, if Trump gets into office with him doing that, I think it will incentivize people to be a lot nicer to each other, communicate with each other, and you know, what I mean, like, yeah, if you want to tip, you want to tip. You know, I tip always, and I never like even bad customer service. In my head, I would just think, man, those people just probably having a bad day. You know, I never take it, or they just don't like me. Like I was, you know, like I've been there. I've been there when I have a shitty day, and I'm like, ah, man, fuck this guy or something. You know, like,
Right.
and I've been there, just a bad day. So yeah, I feel like that's good. That's gonna help a lot of people, incentivize a lot more people to be more respectful. Cause I've had waiters where they're just rude, don't ever check them on my table, doing things like that, and I'm like, okay, you know, it is what it is. I'm not gonna complain about it to them or whatever. I just kind of just let it be. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's gonna help people could relearn how to communicate with each other, be respectful to each other, and incentivize to talk to the person. Because nowadays, like I said, there's no communication skills whatsoever. Usually, they come check on your table. The food's there. Everything looks good. Cool. Need a refill? Okay, cool. Get your refill. That's about it. Maybe one, two refills, and that's about it. They really don't check on you too much more. So I think it's gonna help people communicate more. Like go in there, be more, be nice, be in there, check on you a little bit more, be a little bit more attentive.
Just even even eye contact. Alex, a win for me always is, let's if I go into a place and while I'm ordering, then they look down at my kid and they say hi, and then they say, hey, by the way, napkins are over there, or come again, or hey, if that coffee's not hot enough, let me know, or the classic one is this: you order something, they give you the wrong order, and then you tell them nicely and they roll their eyes at you, as opposed to it's just so much easier to be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Keep
Yeah,
that, go ahead and keep that, and I'll make you a new one. Or here's a card. How sometimes they'll even do this. The guy will be like, hey, here's a card, $1 off on your next coffee or something, or if you're
yeah,
waiting too long. And I my thing is, I want to incentivize I want to use my money to incentivize those people and not give money to the guy who's panhandling on the freeway who I know is going to buy fentanyl. Like, I want to use my money to like reward young adults for like just being cool. Just be cool.
yeah. A crazy story. So a while ago, I went to Mexico to go visit my family. I took my son. We ended up stopping at this Denny's, like on the way back, and you know, the waitress was super nice. We sat down. The first thing she did was like bring goldfish to my son, brought him crayons and everything, and then she made sure when we ordered, like she made sure his food came out first. And
Always
I was
bring
like,
the kids out first. Makes our
eh,
job easier as parents, right? They're eating and they
yeah.
can relax. Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, like this is super nice. I ended up tipping her like $100. You know, she starts like, oh my god, thank you so much. I'm like, no, like you went above and beyond, like to help me out, to make sure my son was very taken care of, to make sure like my family that was with me was taken care of. Like not too many people do that anymore, you know. And I ended up tipping her $100, and she was so happy. I was like, look, is this at least I can do? You know, hopefully, you know, you can tell she was kind of having an off day, you know, but she still did that extra for me. And it's not like she knew who I was, you know what I mean? She was older, she didn't know who I was, so it wasn't like, oh, this is a UFC fighter. This is She was just like, she was just being nice, and I tipped her, and she was so happy. You know, she was so grateful. She's like, "Thank you so much. No one's ever done that." I was like, "Oh, like I'm glad I can make your day better." You know, and it was cool. You know, like she was very nice, very attentive, very like everything we needed. Like, you know, and this is before I tipped her. You know,
Mm-hmm.
after I tipped her, she's like, "Oh my god, do you need things to go?" Like, no, no, we're good. You know, like it was one of those things.
She
But
wants to
yeah,
give
you
you a
know,
coffee to go.
yeah, you know, she was super nice, and like I said, like I enjoy rewarding people like that. I don't like rewarding people that have attitude and stuff like that. Like, you know, like people, like I said, people nowadays are so entitled to getting tipped. It's crazy to me. Like, oh, you did, like, yeah, you're working. Like, that's what you do. You don't tip me. I fight on the TV. You don't. They want me
Right.
to put my Venmo online real quick so you guys can tip me for
Right.
every round I go or something. You know.
Right.
So people nowadays are too entitled to things, you know. And I feel like that happened what now because the minimum wage in California has gone up, right? And just the way we are, like we don't communicate things like that. So I think a lot of that's starting to build up a lot. Like I feel like my coach, my high school coach told me, he's like, I feel bad for you guys' generation, you know, like. And now I feel bit like my generation is like, oh shit, I'm starting to see that, you know, what he was talking about. I feel bad for my son's generation because all you see is iPad kids. All you see is, you know, like they don't know what socializes. Kids are 6 years old on cell phones. Like, what the heck is that? You know, like I remember I didn't get a cell phone until I was in high school.
I
You know,
was
and
thinking I have 3 boys, and, my boys are never allowed to touch my phone, like, ever, 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 like, they're not allowed to even if they're like, "Hey, can I check the tide?" Or, "Do you want me" if my phone rings, I don't even let them bring it to me, they're just not allowed to touch it, and but I homeschool my kids too, but I was thinking I'm not gonna get them a phone till, like, ever. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
so
Like till 18 or something. Like, I'm just gonna because all the cool kids I know, and I don't see too many of them, but when I come across a cool kid, the earliest they ever got a cell phone is like 15. Like I met this really cool young man the other day, and I'm like, "Hey, when'd you get a cell phone?" He goes, "Oh, 15." And I'm like, "Yep."
yeah, so I didn't get so for me like so I come from a very big family. There's nine of us,
9.
nine.
Not
So there,
9 brothers and sisters. Wiki got it wrong. Wikipedia says 8.
yeah. Well, there's nine of us all together. There's
Okay.
8 siblings, so nine of us all together. So we had to share a cell phone because my mom needed to get a hold of us sometimes. So like me and my brother, so like my brother will hold it, whatever, because we all went to high school. Like I got my own cell phone because I started working.
Oh, there
I
you
had to
go.
I had to pay my own bill,
There you go.
you know, and that's the way it worked for me. But I didn't get into. I was in 8th grade going to high school. You know,
Yeah.
I was
Hey,
cutting.
sorry, what were you gonna say? You were cutting what? Cutting grass?
Like I was cutting grass and doing like odd jobs to pay for my cell phone bill. You know.
Did you have your own mower or did you work for someone?
No, we had our own. I just used the one we used for my house. Just went around doing that.
Damn. So you've always had it in you. Hey, when you say there was 9, but there were only 8 siblings, who was the ninth one? What was like a cousin or something?
So my family like so it's me. I got 3 brothers and 5 sisters. So one of my brothers when we were young ended up passing away. He was very young, so we ended up passing away. So we lived in Sparks, Nevada, for a long time, and then when he passed away, we moved out to we moved out to California, and then that's where we in Hanford. That's where I was born. I was raised kind of in between Sparks and Hanford, and then we ended up moving to Lemoore when I was in 6th grade. That's when my mom bought the house. But my house has always been like everybody's lived with us, like cousins at one point in time. My grandma lived with us, you know, like everybody lived with us. At one point in time, it was my 5 sisters, my 2 brothers, myself, my grandma living with us. Like the garage was turned into a room, you know. My cousins have moved in here and there in between, you know, in and out, things like that. So we've always had like a big family. Like everybody comes in, you know, people stay. My friends have stayed for numbers of like weeks, you know, things like that. So my house has always been very wide open. My mom's been very generous to keep my friends in, my
Mm.
family, stuff like that, you know.
Hey, how did your younger brother pass away?
I never really asked. We were super young. I was in like 5th grade.
Uh-huh.
So I just remember waking up and
He was a
hearing,
baby? Was
yeah,
he a baby?
yeah, he was a baby. He's probably probably like, he was young. He was probably like a year or two, maybe. And I just remember waking up and hearing that, like hearing our babysitter at the time because my mom went to work, so we had a babysitter come in, like scream, you know, and I was like, oh shit. And then like obviously all that stuff happened. So I never really asked, you know. It's kind of one of those things when we were young and all that stuff happened. So yeah, I'd never asked why or how, what happened. Kind of just left it, let it be, you know. It's kind of one of those things that I never wanted to ask my mom and reopen up things.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I never asked.
That's wild. My dad had, including him, had 10 siblings, and 2 of them passed away.
Oh man.
And, my dad was raised in a small town outside of, Beirut, Lebanon, and the whole family lived in a 10 by 10 concrete structure. that was built by the French military, and their bathroom was outside, and they didn't have electricity. And when the siblings died, Alex, um, they would be as part of, I guess, just the religious. My grandmother was Catholic, I think. As part of the like procedure, the sibling would stay in the house like for 5 or 7 days.
Oh man.
And so my dad would have to sleep next to the dead sibling. Yeah, it's a fucking wild, wild
Yeah.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's wild.
yeah. But if you're gonna have that many if you're gonna have that many kids, the odds start going up, right?
Yeah.
That you're gonna, there's gonna be some tragedy. Hey, uh, where are you in the pecking order of these 8 kids,
So
nine
I'm the
kids?
second oldest.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, so so my older brother, he's a cop in Long Beach PD.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
got his bachelor's, got his master's. Then there's me. I went to junior college basically to wrestle because I knew I was gonna fight.
Uh huh.
And then my little brother,
You were gonna fight. You knew you were gonna fight.
yeah, I didn't know how far I was gonna be able to take it, but I was like, I'm not a school guy, you know.
Uh huh.
Coming from like I have a learn, I'm dyslexic, so school was never interesting for me. You know, I was like, ah, screw this. I was really good at math, but at the end of the day, like unless you're gonna be an architect or something like that, like I mean, I would sleep through classes and I would pass like algebra 2, calculus, like easy, like.
Damn.
But then I was like, well, I'm not gonna do anything with this, and all you gotta really learn in the real world is learn how to count money. It's like, oh, that's easy. You get a calculator too, you know. So like, I was like, I'm just going to school. I'm just going to school to wrestle, you know, because I knew I was gonna fight. Then my little brother, he's a diesel mechanic, but he has he graduated with his AA. My little sister graduated with her AA, and then every sib like, so I'm like the black sheep of the family. Like I'm the one that doesn't have it. Like the older dog doesn't have a degree.
You're the bad
Um,
kid.
yeah, got tattoos when I was young. You know, like I did my own thing. So like my older brother, like out of my family, we were very blessed. Like my mom was very hard on us. I mean, we got like C's on our stuff. She's like, get inside, like you ain't going nowhere. I mean, my mom sacrificed a lot for us to all three of us, all three. So at one point in time, all three of us were wrestling. Me, and my two brothers. At the same time, my brother was in high school. I was in junior high. My little brother was elementary. She was going traveling between tournaments. I mean, it isn't. It's wrestling is. It's a cheap sport because the gear, you buy shoes and a singlet and a headgear, but the travel and everything, especially with three of us. So we would travel and wrestle every weekend. I mean, we're going up and down the Central Valley, going out to San Jose too as well, going up there to wrestle. And yeah, so I was very fortunate to do all that. So all of us, even the younger siblings now, everybody's done good. None of us were pregnant in high school. Uh,
Yeah.
none of us. None of us didn't graduate high school, so we all had an opportunity to go to a junior college or a division school, for wrestling. And you know what I mean? Like all of us have been working out. Like everybody sees us. Like a lot of people, I think, see us like as like I guess we're like kind of stuck up or too cocky or something. But it's like, man, we're just living life. We have so much stuff going on. Obviously, I fight. My brother works. I mean, works for Long Beach PD, and he works. I mean, I think at one point in time he worked like 30 days in a row. So like,
In a pretty crazy spot too. The LBC's
yeah,
pretty
you
wild.
know, my older brother, he's a my little brother. He's working on stop working long hours and stuff like that. So it's one of those things.
Alex, there's people making fun of you here in the comments. Let's look at this one. This one's great. Where is it? Jake, he's gonna come over and beat your ass, dude. Where is it? Let me see this comment. This is a great one. Where is it? Shit. Uh it was so funny when I read it. So anyway, I can't find it, but he said, "Hey, does Alex cut his own hair?" He said he's frugal. He's making fun of your hair, dude. Not the,
Hey
do you
man,
guys
I've got.
do I gave my at 52 years old, Alex. One of my kids got lice recently, and I cut my hair for the first time, and I always thought, I said, "Man, how could I call myself a man if I've never cut my own hair?" And so my kid had lice, so I took him in the backyard and we shaved each other with a one. But when I heard you're frugal, I'm guessing that's one of the things you do. You cut your own hair.
I get a haircut like every few months. I I
Oh,
mean,
here it is. Jake Chapman. Does Alex cut his own hair? Where do you go? I'm a super cuts guy before I cut my own hair. Where do you go?
uh,
You go
I
somewhere
mean,
fancy?
some depending. Some of my friends are barbers and stuff like that. Like honestly, it's just hair. It'll grow back.
That's what I
You
always say.
know,
Yeah.
I can care less. Like I said, uh, hopefully Jake. Hopefully he's hopefully he has great hair. Turn down, Papa. Hopefully he has great hair and he's not talking smack because his hair's messed up. But
Oh, he's a
hey
ladies' man.
everyone, good morning. Welcome
This
to my
guy's a
new
ladies'
vlog.
man.
So
It rains vagina on this guy.
hey, good for
Steven
him.
Flores, a fellow Mexican. My mom has 13 brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I enjoy having a big family.
Yeah,
Turn
right.
down, Papa.
How old are your kids?
So I have one. He's 3 years old. He just woke up right now. He's over here.
Yo, what's up, dude? Oh, you guys go
Uh,
to the same barber.
yeah, he gets haircuts way more often than I do. That's for sure. I get
Hey,
mine like every few months. The haircut before this was my last fight week. Was like in April. Like I can care less. My hair is like whatever. I'm I'm not gonna. I don't want to pay $50 a haircut nowadays. you
hey,
know
and
that.
how old's your other kid?
So I only have one. So
One. Okay.
this is my son. He's 3 years old. His name's Noah.
You think you're gonna have a shitload? You think you'll end up having like 4, 5, 6?
My mom's asked me. I don't think so, just because, man, this sport is very, very selfish, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I'm a pretty good dad. You know what I mean? I include my son in a lot of stuff, but man, the time I have to spend apart from him, it kills me. And he's starting to understand, like when I'm like, hey, daddy has to go to work, because I travel between California and Vegas a lot, and I do training camps, so like half over there, half over here, things like that. It's just very selfish, and like I want to be able to spend as much time with my son, and it's hard to do obviously when I'm on the go all the time. And
Is your wife Mexican?
yes,
Does she want a shitload of kids?
uh, I don't think so. I think
No.
she
Oh.
would want
Oh.
more, but for me, we kind of talked, and I was like, hey, like this is a selfish sport. Like I can't give like like obviously I'm sacrificing a lot right now. So when he's older, like he's gonna like he'll understand or see like I'm missing a lot of little moments, and I don't know if I'm willing to do that again because it takes a lot. Like every time I go away for a week or two or three, I come back, my son's learning new words. He's got bigger. He just so quick, and it's just like, man, do I really want to do that again? And
Yeah. Yeah.
his mom takes a lot of a lot of the bulk of stuff. Like obviously when I'm not there, it's like she's a single mom, just because I'm so focused on competing, winning, training, everything I have to do. So it's kind of one of those things. Like if it happens, great. I'll be a blessing. But for me, I don't. It's hard to say if I really like. I would love to have more. If I had a regular job, I would love to have more because I have a steady schedule. But my schedule
Hey,
doesn't
you could have
change.
more. You could have more in your. I didn't have I had my first kid when I was 39, and then I had twins when I was 43.
Oh really? Oh
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, and I'm stoked, and now I got all the free time in the world for him.
Yeah. See, so that's the biggest thing. It's just time. I want to make sure I have enough time for him because, like I said, like I want to be able to raise my son as a young man,
Mhm.
teach him
Mhm.
things here and there. And I think, with me being gone, like his mom does a great job. His grandparents do a great job because they help a lot. But I want to do that. That's
Mhm.
what I want to do.
You wanna raise your kid.
Yes.
Hey, I'm always curious. I think it takes a special, very healthy woman to have a man like you. Meaning a man who's dedicated, who's focused, who has the space to excel and be his bigger self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you it's not a normal woman. Like I think of like I'm guessing your wife doesn't nag you.
Nah. I mean, she
Yeah.
does
Like
sometimes. She does sometimes, obviously, when I need to be. But she lets me do my thing. She lets me, you know, be be the person I need to be to get into fighting. Because fighting is not a normal job. It's not a normal sport. Obviously, I mean, I need to have a different mindset. Like, it's hard going from being you know, being a loving dad to my son, and then having to turn it on and go in there and try to kill somebody. So she does a
And
great
fight in
job.
main events. She's married to a guy who fights main events.
So she does a very good job of like letting me do that. And it's like we were together for a very long time, so it's not like, oh, it's recent. I think we met during my second pro fight, so that was back in 2011.
Uh-huh.
So it's been a long, long time. So she understands the job. She understands what it takes, mentally and physically. She's helped me weight cut. She's meal preps for me, so she understands the job.
How did what was the courtship process with your wife? How did you meet her? Where do you meet? Where do you meet a UFC fighter?
We met in college. We're both
Uh-huh.
going to the same junior college, and we
You were
met.
fighting you were fighting and going to junior college?
Yeah. So in 2010, I
Uh-huh.
went to junior college at West Hills College, Lemoore, because
Uh-huh.
I didn't get no offers. So I was kind of pissed off. So I was like, I'm gonna wrestle in junior college, and then that's it. And then we met in 2010, like 2000, yeah, around 2010, 11. And we met at my apartment. My friends were partying, and she ended up coming over. Like, it was just like my apartment was a party apartment, and I was getting ready to weigh in the next day, so they were being super loud. And I got up, and I was like, hey, can you guys keep it down, whatever. And I literally looked down, and she's like eating some food. I'm like, what the heck? And I looked, and I was like, my food I was supposed to eat after weigh-ins. My roommate made it. My roommate made it for her, and I was like, what the heck? I was pissed. So then the next day, I went over to her apartment and cleaned out her refrigerator. Like, I mean, you'd say everything I cleaned. I mean, I ate everything in that fridge.
What did you do?
Eh,
You're like, "Hey, who's that chick who was at my house?" And they told you, and they're like, "Where's she live?" And you went and ate her food?
Basically.
That's awesome, dude.
And yeah, and then ever since, I mean, since 2011, we're together. We have a son. Everything we have is kind of like she sacrificed a lot to for me to get to where obviously live my dream and stuff. And now it's my turn to help her. I'm trying to get her back into school. She's a medical assistant. She has her degree or certificate to be a medical assistant, but right now she's running my acai shop, but she wants to be a RN
Mhm.
at LVN. So that's our goal next to like help her get to where she wants to be, because I wouldn't be here without her. That's for sure. She sacrificed a lot for me to get to this point, and it's my turn to return the favor for her.
Um, so it's 2024, so you've been at it for 13 years at this level.
Yep.
And this last fight, by the way, did you watch your last fight? Have you rewatched it?
No, I haven't rewatched it. I really don't. I really don't like watching my fights win or lose, just because I don't like seeing myself on TV. It's weird to me still.
I was so angry with the commentators. You I was so fucking pissed. I was texting a buddy of mine back and forth. Do you think you were winning that fight?
Yeah, I thought I won round one. I think it was I in my head, obviously, like when we're not fighting in there, I thought it was a little bit. I thought it was close, but I thought I sealed it with the takedown. I thought I
Uh-huh.
was landing more. Like, he hit me with some good shots, but I think I was landing more. I was pushing him back. I thought I was doing more damage. In the second round, I felt like it was like I was starting to land a little bit more before he got the takedown.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, a lot of people actually hit me up about the commentary, and I was like,
They're fucking it. I was so mad at Bisbing. Here's what I noticed. And I'm strictly a fan, but every Saturday I watch the fights, right? And then I have fighters on the show. But if you were throwing combinations, so if they like the fighter, they'll be like, "Oh, Alex is doing great. He's throwing combinations." And this guy was just throwing single shots. And instead of complimenting you for throwing combinations and connecting, they're like, Alex has more of a wild style. Tesaro or whatever that guy's name has more accuracy. I'm like, you fucking idiot. Alex is beating his ass. I
yeah,
thought you were just all over the place. You were a tornado. Your footwork was crazy. He didn't look comfortable in the ring. You looked like you were at home. I was just tripping on how they and I know they're experts, so I don't want to like call them out on it. I wouldn't like I have no but I've been watching the sport, for 15 years now. And when they do that shit, it was like they already had it planned. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let's blow this guy. It was irritating as all get out.
Yeah, no, I mean, man, it's just one of those things. People are telling me about it, and I'm just like, dude, I can't control what they say or do. Can't
Right,
control what they
right,
say or do.
right.
It sucks that what I mean, they're biased, but hey, at the end of the day, they're gonna do what they think is best. I guess I don't know. They
And if you would have
maybe they
won, they'd have
like
been
him
like,
more.
Alex is up for the title. He's the greatest, most underrated. Like they would have just switched the script too if you would have
Yeah,
won.
this game's about what you've done and what you're doing. The kid had all the hype.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people were behind the kid, and that's great. Everybody's asking me too, like, how do I feel? Obviously, I got injured and stuff like that, and everybody's asking me how I feel or like why I'm so. I guess, my attitude towards it. Like I'm not like I'm bummed out. Don't get me wrong. I'm upset, but sometimes too I can't control what happened. I just got to deal with what's going on.
Right.
Um, my knee's jacked up. I got to go see a specialist next week.
Oh, by the way,
Um,
they said it was your ankle too in the commentary. And like me and my buddy are texting, like, what the fuck are these guys looking at? His
yeah, no,
ankle.
my ankle's completely fine. It's fat right now because I've fucking eaten so much Korean barbecue, but it's not fat from from the fight. It was my knee. My knee's pretty messed up. Gotta go see a specialist next week and go from there. But the hindsight is, I guess I can take the brightness from it is that if they think this kid's gonna be the next champ, it's like I fought the two best prospects with Makayev
Uh-huh.
and him. I think Makayev is better. Um,
I think you were gonna win this fight if that wouldn't have happened. I think you were
yeah,
gonna get out. I think you were gonna. Did you think you were gonna win it? Like going into the
yeah,
second round, you're like, oh shit, I'm winning this shit.
yeah. I felt confident. I felt like I was doing my thing. I was warming up too. I felt like I was a little off in the first round. I felt like I was getting better. I get better and better as the rounds go on. That's my style. But like the positive I can take from it is that if they think this kid's that good, I mean, I think I was doing great. Like if this kid thinks like he's a good kid, if he thinks like, oh man, I was beating this kid or I was doing this against Alex, like man, he has another thing coming. Like I don't see him beating any of the top five guys the way he fought. But
I
hey, more
really
power
wanted
to
to.
him.
Yeah, I really wanted to see how he was gonna weather the storm. That was gonna be a 5 round fight, right?
Yes, it's gonna be a 5 round fight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree with you 100%. Yes. Yeah, and his face was showing it too. His face was red like a tomato.
Yeah, I actually seen him the day after, because we were managed by the same guy, and I went to the office. He was there. Cool kid, you know what I mean. I don't take this like I've been doing this for so long, so I don't take anything uh to heart or granted. People talk shit online. I'm probably one of the most laid back and easygoing guys you'll ever meet. So like he was cool. He was very respectful, but like I said, like if they think that this kid's gonna be the next uh champ, it's like man. I've been in there with some of the best guys in the world. I was like, you know, like
L-
he's good. He's good, but I don't think you know what I mean. Like I don't think he's like crazy. Want to good. Want to want to sit down.
Is he
Sit down,
saying one
Papa.
two one two? Is he testing the mic? Testing one
Yeah.
two. Testing one two one two. Um, what do you think happened to what do you think happened to the knee? Are you
Um.
limping?
Um. Yeah. I mean, I'm limping. I'm able to band it and everything, but man, knowing knee injuries and being around the sport a lot, I don't think it's anything good. Like.
You don't think it's
Dude,
just stretched? You think something's torn?
oh yeah, something has to be torn. The way my knee's still swollen to this day. I've been icing, doing all that. I think a lot of like I'm walking, but I think more of that's more of the mental toughness that in me, So yeah, sit down.
What?
Sit
When
down.
do you go? When do you go get you go? When do you get an MRI?
So I got an MRI. I got an MRI, so I go back next week to go see a specialist, and they'll kind of tell me what's going on.
And then basically it's the kind of thing where you think you'll have to have surgery.
Who knows? Because I know, like, depending on what's torn and what they suggest, I know people have like I'm not sure what mine is because I just got my MRI and stuff. So and it was it was a holiday, Juneteenth, so they were off and everything. And so I'm gonna jump on the phone with them a little bit later today. We have a call with them, and they're gonna tell me what's going on. But I mean, I know people that don't have ACLs or meniscus and still compete at the highest level.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, I'm 32 years old. I want to get back in there as soon as possible. I was hoping, win this fight and get one more in this year, maybe two more in this year. But obviously, plans change. So I'm hoping, we go see the specialist and figure out what we can do to get me back in there as soon as possible. And hopefully, I mean, hopefully, like, hey, you can come back by the end of the year. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think it'll probably be around February of next year. And yeah, like I gotta take it day by day. But yeah, so we got an MRI. It was just my knee's been so swollen. My knee's been so swollen that they weren't able to do imaging right away.
Oh shit. Hey, are
Yeah.
peptides legal in the UFC?
Um, I you have to like I know some are, some aren't. So you have to kind of do your research behind it. Talk to Jeff Novinsky and all them about it. So like I said, hoping and praying that like it's nothing serious. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I know like I reached out to the stem cell lab in Colombia, you know, and I
Like Colombia,
obviously,
like the country?
yeah, in Colombia they have the best, like some of the best stem cells out there from what I heard. Um, and hoping, it can just be stem celled up and ready to go. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I got an appointment next week with the specialist and kind of go from there. They're gonna today. I'm talking to Heather Lynn from the UFC PI a little bit later, so she'll tell me what's going on and what she thinks the best route is. And then we're scheduled to see a specialist no matter what, just to weigh all our options.
And I assume every fighter has insurance. Like you got to have insurance. Like
So
during the
the UFC covers your, like, if you fight, they cover their insurance. They cover their insurance. Basically, like if anything happens, like when so a lot of people, like, I'm very private about my injuries. So like when I fought Pantoja, we ended up like colliding heads in the first like 30 seconds. I ended up breaking my orbital bone right here.
from a
So I got a metal,
headbutt.
yeah. So I got a metal plate in there, and the UFC covered everything, and I got to see one of the best doctors out in Orange County. I mean, so like they do a very, the UFC, like, it sucks because UFC gets a bad rep, right? Like obviously with the pay and all this stuff, yeah, we get, like, UFC gets a bad rep, but they do a very good job of taking care of us, for sure.
So they, if you get injured in the ring, they're on it. They give you
Yep.
resources to make sure.
Even if I get hurt in training camp, like you have a $1,500 deductible, and then they cover up to a large amount,
Oh, that's awesome. Okay,
So
that's
like
good.
they do a very good job of taking care of us. Like I said, they get a bad rep, but I feel I've been around for a lot of promotions. I've been around for a lot of promotions, and I've seen the way they treat fighters, and the UFC definitely want the best. And I'm not saying that just because I'm in the company. I'm saying that because
No, no, I
I've
hear you.
seen, I've been around, for a long time, and I've gone to different organizations and stuff, and big organizations too. And I'm like, what the heck? So, like I said, they do a very good job taking care of us.
Hey, what did your mom do? What was your mom's job
So my
with eight
mom, she
kids?
works for she worked for the county. She works for the county, does taxes for the county, and then my stepdad, he worked in the fields.
Like Salinas Valley, the farming fields.
Yeah, out in Central Valley, so out in like Avenel, out in like Fresno, that kind of area. So he worked there.
Is he first generation here?
Yes.
And is your mom first generation here?
No.
Second generation?
Yeah.
Do you know the story of how your family got here? How your grandparents
I
got here?
no, I don't know.
And so obviously you saw people who were working their asses off, and you think that's where, like, is that where, like, obviously your brothers and sisters, everyone's got great work ethic. You think you got that just straight from watching your parents?
Oh yeah, 100%. Seeing like there was nine of us, and we went without. Like we got, like, it wasn't like we're shopping at, like, and there's nothing wrong with there. It's not like we're shopping at like a Goodwill. I mean, we were getting like name brand clothes, shoes. I mean, we had Xbox, we had a PlayStation, we had iPods.
Wow.
Like we had everything we needed. And my mom said like we just saved up, like it wasn't like we went out, like yeah, we not got it when it first came out, but we just saved up. We did our best to get you what you guys wanted, but we had more than what we needed. That was for sure.
Hey, when you say you're frugal, like give me an example. Like, I'm I'm 52, and it was only a year ago I replaced the couch in my I bought one of my friends was moving to Costa Rica, so I bought her couch from her. But up until then, me and my wife had the couches from when I was in the 8th grade in our living room. Like, do you do shit like that? Like, you just
Oh yeah, like people
yeah.
always ask me, like if you look at the way I dress, like people like when I go places, like when I go places, like go out to eat or go anywhere, like I walk into like a store and I'm in like I wear sweatpants and a shirt. I'm in, like shorts and shoes, like you know what I mean, like like basic. I'm like I'm in running shoes, or I'm like in the Reebok shoes that they gave us, or the whatever shoes that they gave us at the time. People like that's the way I dress. I drive a Honda. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Like an old ass Honda Civic?
2017. So before then,
Oh, okay.
I had a Hyundai that was like a 2002.
Yeah.
And then once we had the baby, like I was like, I gotta probably get a better car, a little bit more
Yeah.
reliable. So I'm very like I don't really spend much at the when I'm in Vegas. Like I get free food at the PI. Guess where I'm eating at the
Yeah.
PI?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, um, I mean supplements we get at the PI. Like I'm very like, hey, boom, boom, boom. My bills are this much, so that's how much I spend for my bills. Maybe I spend a little bit more. I do private lessons. I train people, and they'll Venmo me. And what I do is like my Venmo card. I don't have it linked up to my bank account, so whatever I make in my private lessons is the money I can spend to go out to eat, to go have fun, do whatever. Once that
Oh.
money's out, then I
Oh.
can't do that.
Right.
You know. So
Right.
like I mean, obviously I'm charging. I'm like I charge depending on what you want to do. I charge anywhere from 100 to 60 bucks a lesson. So and I try to do like 4 to 5 of them a week if I can. But
Right.
like
Right.
sometimes when I'm in camp, I really don't do them. So if I want to go out to eat with a friend and I don't have money on that card, well, guess what? I ain't going, kind of thing.
Where do
I
you do
go? Of
Yeah.
course,
Where
but
do you do your private lessons at?
so when I'm in California, when I'm at Timoyama out there in Irvine, and then when
Okay.
I'm in Vegas, I'll take my Iridium has like a private gym, so I do it there, um, or I take people to the UFC PI.
You can
You
do
know.
that?
Hmm.
So if there's some kid, so there's let's say someone's watching this and they live in Vegas and they have a kid who's a high school wrestler. They can be like, "Hey Alex, I saw you on the Sevon podcast. Next time you're in Vegas, I'd love to get some lessons from you." And you could take the kid to the PI and teach him lessons, wrestling lessons.
So they have to be 18 just because
Okay.
the legal stuff. So 18 to go into the PI, and then if not, then we go to the Iridium gym and it's right down the street, and then we go to the PI and get lunch there. Because I obviously for the cafeteria you don't need to
Wow.
be 18. So like
Wow.
so I'll take clients there.
Wow. I can't believe and you only charge 100 an hour for that?
Yeah. Well,
Damn.
it also depends what you want to do, right? Like for me, I charge more if it's just me and you because
Uh-huh.
obviously I'm working, I have to put my body and stuff like that. I charge less if it's you and a partner,
Yeah. How
just
about
because
go ahead. Sorry, sorry.
I don't have to like I can watch you, I can show you technique, and it's easier for me to coach when I can see what you're doing,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes when you're like shooting a double leg on me, it's kind of hard to correct all your positioning.
I mean, you like
So,
coaching? You like the teaching part?
oh, I love it.
God, that
One of my favorite things.
yeah, that's awesome. You think you'll do that your whole life maybe?
Maybe the generation now is a lot different than when I was growing up. But my high school coach always like instilled in us like give back to the sport that gave to you.
Mhm.
I mean, I started coaching when I was in high school. My One of my managers, Jeremy Lucha, I met him when I was 14 years old. I met his son when his son was 4 years old, and I coached him all the way up into high school. A little bit in high school. But I mean, I love coaching. I love giving back. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't people that invest in me. It's not like high school wrestling coaches are making a shitload of money, you know.
Right.
So I always try to give back. I always try to like share. Like we're doing a fundraiser for Silverback Wrestling. They're trying to go to Fargo. We do a lot of fundraisers at my acai shop. So I try to like just, hey, you get 35% back. You know, bring people in. They use Silverback Wrestling. They use that. Make sure make sure you guys we give them something. I try to donate here and there when I can to wrestling clubs, or like even I'll see a post online that, hey, we're trying to go to Fargo. Can you please donate? I'll reach out like, hey, what's your Zelle? I'll Zelle you, what I can. Say a couple $100, because I was in that position before, and I want people to, like, that wrestle, especially from the Central Valley. I want them to see the world. You know, a lot of people don't leave small towns, so I'm like, I always push kids like, hey, get out of here, go do something, go do get like Lemore's always gonna be here, Central Valley's always gonna be here. Go out there and explore, go out there and train. Who knows? It might open up opportunities to go to a 4 year school, and that's my biggest thing. Like I want kids to go to school. Like I wish I would go back and take college serious. I wish I would have done
Mm.
that. Education is key. It might not set you up for the future, but you do learn a lot of stuff. You do learn a lot of great lessons. And like I said, so I'm always trying to give back. I'm always trying to help out the youth. I'm always, even like guys I help train, like Cody Garbrandt, Sadiq Cavillo, Carlos Barza, Ricky Simon, like all these guys. Like I enjoy doing that because they work hard. And like I said, without support, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Ricky Simone's awesome.
He's a solid dude.
Yeah, is he fun to work with?
Oh, he's one of my favorite people. He's one of my main training partners. I'm in camp or he's in camp. We always make time to train with each other. I always
I'm
have him
so
come to
impressed with
California.
him.
I always have him come to California though, because I ain't going out to Washington
Yeah,
or
yeah,
Oregon.
yeah. I don't blame you. Yeah, he's cool as shit. Um, when you said kids are different now than you seem too young to say that. What are you seeing? You seeing some big shift in kids, or what are you seeing?
Oh yeah, everybody's entitled nowadays. Everybody
Yeah.
feels like they deserve it. Like everything I've gotten, I've earned.
Uh huh.
From the house I'm buying to my business to everything. I work for that. I think kids feel like they're more entitled nowadays,
Mm,
and I don't know if it's because of generation or like I always tell people, like my job is for me to make my future easier for my son, right? But I still need him to work hard. Like I'm not gonna give him everything. Like he needs to his ass needs to work. He needs to learn the value of a dollar. He needs to earn the value of working hard, how it feels to work and pay taxes and do all that stuff. I feel like a lot of people take that too serious, where they're like, "Oh, my son, I'm building this up for my son." They give him everything, and then at the end, it's like, "Well, they're still staying at home." Hey,
hey, e- 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 every single person I've known that was like given shit, like, and when I mean given shit, I mean like a lot of shit, like some 7 figure shit. They all went crazy. 100% of them. I've known like probably a half dozen. Even yeah, probably like a half dozen. Even I've seen like women marry really rich men, and they just fucking go nuts. Like they just completely lose their fucking identity. They have no value. They haven't earned anything. It's nuts.
yeah,
It's unhealthy to run into shit that you to get have a life that you didn't earn.
it is,
You'll
and like I
do some
said,
weird shit.
and you see it now more and more nowadays. Like everything's like, oh, you can make money on social media. So you see kids on social media trying to make money now. You see kids on YouTube, like, man, like for me, I biggest thing when I coach kids in general,
Mhm.
I tell the parents, I'm willing to put in as much time as they want to put in. But my one rule is you have to let them be a kid. If the kid doesn't want to go to practice one day, okay. The kid wants to go out and hang out with his friends at night, like go out, go to like a house party or do whatever, go to the movies, whatever, let them go. If you're not letting them be a kid, then I don't know if I can work with them. They're like, oh, why is that? Like, you shouldn't worry about it. It's like, because then it makes my job a little bit easier. If you're just making this kid be here and he don't want to be here, it's gonna make my hard job a lot harder. You know, I think kids nowadays. just get a lot of stuff. And two, I think parents put a lot of pressure on their kids nowadays because they see all these young talents in MMA, right?
Yeah.
These
In
young
all
kids,
in all the sports, skateboarding, tennis, MMA, wrestling, figure skating, the level at like 10 years old is already insane, right?
so they, but you look at those kids, how, like, how many of those kids are gonna be? It's hard to say normal because it's really not normal. But how many of those kids are gonna be able to say they enjoy their childhood or not resent their parents or stuff like that? Like my son, I want him to wrestle,
Right.
but guess what? I don't want to coach him.
Mm. Mm.
You know, I want my son. I want my son to do sports. I don't want to coach him. I want that father son. You know, and if he's good, great. If he's not, great. Like I just want him to do something. Like my mom really instilled in us, like, hey, no matter what, you're gonna get good grades and you're gonna do a sport. I don't care what it is. You're gonna do a sport, and we just chose wrestling, and that's what led me to where I'm at today. But I feel like kids nowadays don't have the same drive anymore to do sports, to do things. Everybody wants to just go on, be on their phone all day. Like, and I see myself too. Like, I'll be on an airplane, put on airplane mode. The first thing I do is turn on, go look at Instagram, go look at Facebook. I'm like, ah, shit, you know.
Mhm.
So like when I'm home, I try to do my best to be off my phone. I try to do, you know, when I'm with my son, I try to make sure I'm not on my phone, things like that. Like I said, like generation of kids is not the same. And so I don't know if I'll coach for a very very long time, but I enjoy coaching now, and like it's like one of my passion projects. I love helping people out. I love being part of people's success. You know, I don't need the credit. I don't need people shouting me out, telling me this and that. I don't care about that. I just want to see people be successful and
Mm.
people I care about. You know, because I invest a lot of time and energy into that. You know, and like I tell people all the time, like if you work hard, like I don't care if you win or lose, but if you're at practice every day, you're in shape, you're on diet, you're doing what you need to do, and you're being a good teammate, I'll help you 100%. But if you're not showing up to practice, you're not helping your teammates out, you know, you're lazy, stuff like that, I will not corner, I will not help out. So those are my requirements to be, you know, for me to help. You know, if we're at practice and we're helping each other, great. But to go above and beyond, like I need those five things, you know, work ethic, I need you to be a great teammate because it's an individual sport to a point, but you need your teammates. I need you to put in the maximum effort in your diet, your cardio, everything. The result, we can't control the result, so it's kind of what it like. You go out there, you lose, man. I support you. You go out there and win, I support you. You know, I can't control the outcome of the fight, but if you're doing everything before that, then I'm down.
Hey, I know this is a little abstract here, and it's not like a clear line, but a lot of times I see the world as two kinds of people: people who feel sorry for people and people who believe in people. And I think people who feel sorry for people, the reason why they feel sorry for people is I think it's kind of fake. I think that they think that they're better than other people. So they mask it with feeling sorry for people. Right. And so then they try to help and they end up making the situation worse. And what I hear for you is you're more on the believing inside of people. Like you believe in people. You're not there to like feel sorry for someone. And you're there to, you want to help people who believe in themselves, or if they don't believe in themselves, you wanted to help them learn how to believe in themselves and then run with them. But you're not interested in the guy who just wants to feel sorry for himself.
Yeah. You know, I don't believe in that victim mindset. You know, like
Yeah.
for me, like I haven't had the easiest go at things. I had the
You have
easiest.
not had the easiest go.
Yeah, you know, like I, wa- I was, I was, I was 17-4 before I got into UFC. You know,
Yeah. Wow.
I
Wow.
wasn't the first. I wasn't the first guy they were gonna call. I got a lucky. Some guy, you know, sucks to say, but I got a lucky call because the guy got injured, and 2 weeks notice I got to the contender fight. Like everything I work for has been off of hard work. I don't play myself as a victim. Well, you know, I don't have the best education. I don't have this. I don't have that. Like, nah, those are just excuses. At one point in time, you gotta stop being the victim. You gotta put your foot forward. Like I've had friends like people I thought believed in me talk shit about me. Like, oh, like you're never gonna make it to UFC. You're not gonna do this, this, and this. Now I see them. They're all supporting me. Oh my god, you know, I knew you can do it. I've had people laugh in my face. I've had people discredit me. I've had people do that. Like, dude, stop playing the victim. Like, there's no such thing as a victim mentality. Like, you know what I mean? Like, either you're gonna get off your ass and do it, or you're not.
So
I
you're
just did.
17-4 and you get a call. How does that happen? You
Yeah.
in his 2 weeks notice enough time? Like, tell me that story. How?
Well, I'm always in shape. So
Yeah.
turn down, Papa. Turn down. I'm always in shape. I train all the time. Like my training schedule doesn't change. Maybe my running changes. But I'm always in shape. And I was on my friend Humberto Ben and I got a call to the UFC to fight in Mexico City. And he was like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks before he had to go do medicals.
How do you get the phone? You're just at your buddy's house and your phone rings and it's Jason. He's like, "Yo, Alex, you're never gonna believe this."
So we were driving to go do medicals, and he was we were there, and
For a
he
different fight or for his
yeah,
fight?
for his fight. We
Oh,
were
okay.
like, so I drove him. He didn't have a car, so I drove him, and I was on the way back home. I was eating like a Snickers or something. They're like, "Hey, can you make 125s in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks?" I'm like, I don't know. They're like, "Well, we got a chance at the contenders," and I was like, "Okay," and yeah, we did that, and we went from there, and got the call, and we took the opportunity, and everything worked out for me from there.
And you
Papa turned
flew.
down.
Who goes to Mexico with you?
No, so my friend was gonna fight in Mexico City, and
Uh-huh.
I was gonna fight in Las Vegas for the Dinner White Contender Series.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
I was just there helping him out.
Okay. Oh,
No,
you
I
were
turned down.
you were already in Mexico when you got the call?
So we were in where were we at? We were in we were in California. So we're doing medicals out in where is it? I forget what it's called, but
Okay,
there's a place out here.
so you
We're in
weren't in Mexico.
California. Yeah, we
Okay.
were in California. My friend was getting ready to fight in Mexico,
Okay, okay.
and I got the call on the way home.
And then who goes and then you fight in the Apex when you do that?
So we found the ultimate, the old tough gym.
Oh,
It
right,
wasn't the Apex,
right.
and
And then
yeah, I was season one.
so you go in there and do you remember the guy you fought, his name?
Kevin Gray, yeah. So I went in there, I fought him, I beat him, I choke him out, and I get the contract in 2017.
Wow.
Yeah,
Holy shit. And you were with Jason already then?
yeah. So Jason has been my manager since I first started.
Yeah,
So since
what
I was 18.
how nice is that?
It's good, man. Like I love the guy to death. I love like his family. Like I've met his family. I mean, he meets my like he calls my son his nephew. Christmas, birthdays. He's always sending things. He every time he's in town, he always makes time to see my son. Jason's not just a manager, but he's a he's family to me. And what I mean, I definitely wouldn't be here without his sacrifice. He's fought for me tooth and nail to get to where I'm at. To get me to this place. And like I said, I'm super grateful for him and the whole team. Jeremy Luchow, I've known him since I was 14 years old. And he's part of the management and stuff. So like, those guys are family to me. I respect them a lot.
It's interesting you hear you say that because sometimes I have fighters on here and they'll just talk about how fucking dark and dirty the sport is. And you're rooted. It sounds like you put your roots in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's good and bad in everything, right?
Yeah.
It's just the people you trust. You gotta trust people. Like I
Yeah.
trust Jason and my management to do the best thing for me and my son.
Yeah.
If you don't trust, and it's hard, right? It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do. But if you don't trust the person that's working for you, because people don't always remember, like your manager, you don't work for your manager. Your manager works for you. Turn down.
Oh, right. 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 Oh, is he talking back? Get him.
Yeah, he is. Turn it down, Papa.
He hasn't seen your jab yet. I can tell the way he talks back to you. He hasn't seen your jab
He's
yet.
getting. I mean, his little butt's gotten a little couple. I'm old school. I don't spank him all the time, but he's pushed the limits a couple times. You know.
Um, so you have this injury and you're gonna get it healed, but in your mind, no matter what, you'll be back in the ring again.
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, I've been through a lot, like the last couple years. All the fight cancellations. I got sick. I mean, there's a time I didn't fight for like 2 years. But
The
like my
fight
strongest.
cancellations are crazy, dude. Your sure dog and your tapology is nuts. This is
Yeah.
nuts. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, man. I mean, some of them were mine because I got injured. So a lot of them were like opponents, but it doesn't say that on there. You know what I mean? Everybody just talked a lot of shit, like, oh, this guy cancel all these fights. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm not really too worried about what social media has to say about me.
Yeah, fuck those guys. I just think about the emotional toll
Yeah,
of the
basically
ups
from
and
that,
downs.
from the start from Matt Chanel all the way on, I was in camp for like a year and a half. Then I
Yeah,
fight Pantoja, lose, and I get sick and all that stuff. And it was a crazy time. But I think the biggest, even though Dominic shit on me all weekend, I listened to a lot of his stuff where he was going through when he was injured. You know,
yeah.
and I
Dominic
think
Cruz was.
yeah, uh, he was one of the commentators this week for my fight. So a couple, but he does have a very good mindset on things, and the way he described his stuff. I had to like learn that I'm more than just a fighter. I took my, like I had to be okay with at one point in time because I didn't know if I was gonna be able to fight again or not. I had to be okay with not being a fighter. Like I had to tell myself like, hey, fighting doesn't define me. It's something I do, but it's not who I am. You know. And I think that helped me mentally grow a lot more than anything else. Because before the Makai fight, I didn't know if I was gonna fight again. Um, and I was able to get 3 fights this year. You know what I mean? Obviously, 1 and 2 isn't the best record, but the bright side of the last fight is like, hey, I'm hanging in there with this guy. I felt like I was winning. Obviously, he won. All credit to him. There's nothing I can do about it. But it still shows me I'm there. It still shows me I'm one of the best guys in the world. So with this injury, I just got to tackle it day by day. Am I going to go through some dark times? Of course. I think every athlete does that, especially coming off a big injury, right? Um, so for me, it's just day by day, taking it day by day. Am I going to have, like I said, I have some bad moments in the recovery process? Of course. That's just part of it. That just, I had that before. Just getting that mindset right, being around the right people, things like that. And I think I'll be back hopefully by the beginning of next year.
When you say that you're more than a fighter, um, a year ago or 2 years ago, I had this athlete on here, and she said that like she realized that she's her values. I think she said she's her value. She's not like this athlete. Are you religious?
Yes, I'm Catholic.
Like, do you go to church on Sundays? That kind of religious, or
No, so right now, like I'm getting back into it. So I have it's called pray.com.
uh huh.
It's like I listen to the Bible on there every day, every morning. I listen to prayers every morning. I listen to a couple Bible verses on there in the morning while I'm going for my morning walk, trying to get my mind ready for the day, whether it's business or training.
God, that must be an expensive fucking domain. Excuse me. Pray.com. My God, I wonder how much they paid for that.
Yeah.
Wow. Um, uh, is that when you said that you're more than a fighter? Is that what you did? You sort of rooted yourself more like in God or like in your own
A
personal
little bit,
values?
yeah, a little bit of that, but also just realizing like I'm a father, I'm a brother,
Mm,
things like that. I think I've been in this sport since I was 18 years old. That this is the only life I've known. Like, I mean, I've had jobs, you know, but for the most part of my life, everybody knows me as Alex Perez, a fighter.
right.
So I had to be okay with I had to be okay with not being that fighter.
Yeah. Hey, did you see? I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. Someone texted me this morning and they were like all pissed off that so I have this feeling that like I don't think that you should bring transgender people into kids schools and have them read to the kids. Like, I'm okay if you brought in like cooks or Navy SEALs but for men who want to dress as women, I just don't think that they should be brought into the public school or public library to be reading to kids, and I have my reasons for it. But I'm okay with them partying in San Francisco or going to bars, or I enjoy going to plays with cross-dressing men. Like, I think that's all, like, do your thing. I think of it as and and then recently Louisiana said that they're going to make it a law to have the 10 commandments up in all the schools. And this guy's like, "Hey dude, that's bullshit. Like, how can you be okay with that, but you're not okay with trannies reading to kids?" in the school, and I get their point, but I'm kind of like, I'm not a religious guy, but I still don't have a problem with it. I don't think it should be a law, but I don't have a problem with the 10 commandments up in the school because I see it as just like a list of values. And I think it, like, I wish someone would have introduced to me at a younger age the idea of what values are. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you should
Yeah.
pick some values and root yourself in them. I won't hurt people. I'll always let a fucking woman go through the door before me. Like, pick some things that, like, kind of like, you know what I mean? You won't steal.
Yeah.
If you have extra, you always give it to the guy next to you. Just some shit that's like just makes you a good person, right? A thoughtful
Yeah.
person. Do you have any? What do you think about that? Or will you raise your kids religious?
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'll raise them religious if they choose to like not follow it, like eventually.
Yeah.
Then that's your choice. But yeah, for me, I'm not a big fan of that. You know what I mean? Having a transgender go into a school and reach my son. I think
Yeah.
nowadays, school is not being used for what it's used for. Well, like education, and they're trying to teach kids, oh, like, you can be a girl, you can be like these kids. They're young, they don't understand that. And I have friends, I have family that are are gay, things like that, and I have no
Mhm.
problem with it. Like I can care
Yeah.
less
Big
what you
difference
want to
between
do.
being gay and transgender. Big difference.
And
Yeah.
I have friends that like, oh, like I have a friend that converted over to be transgender. I have no problem with that. I still talk to him, I still treat him the same. But you shouldn't, I believe that you shouldn't bring that around kids, because you're just gonna confuse them, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
they talk about children's minds, like how delicate it is and stuff like that. Like, so then why are we bringing stuff like that into schools? Maybe when they're older they understand, then yeah, maybe when at like high school, okay, you're, but as elementary kids, you don't want to confuse kids. They're already most of them are already confused as it is, like
Right.
what's going on in the world, especially now everything's on, most kids have cell phones, so they see a lot of the stuff going on, they're already confused as it is, so why confuse them more? I think we got to use school for what school is for, and all the other agenda, like, leave it out. Like, one thing I remember when I was growing up, every morning we did the pledge of allegiance.
Mhm.
I don't see that anymore. Like, what I mean, I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud of this country. I'm proud to be, like, we have a lot of benefits that a lot of people don't. I've been able to travel the world and see different countries and stuff like that, and see how blessed we are to be in the United States. Like, a lot of people have it, and they're like, they shit on our country, or they, oh, this isn't fair. I was like, man, go to other countries and see what they do to you guys. Like, I don't think it's the right thing to do. That's my opinion. So yeah, like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know what they're thinking, but like I said, for me, I would not want that, at all for my son.
W-
Just because I said it's confusing them.
I don't even want my I wouldn't even want my kid's teacher to like have a nose ring or a tongue piercing. Not because I just don't want my kids seeing that as like normal.
Yeah,
I don't care, like, if you wanna date when you're 18, you wanna leave the house, you wanna date a chick who's got a tongue piercing, more power to you. I just want, like, a kind of like I don't know what the word is. I don't want them being influenced in ways that I don't think are gonna be conducive to their success or distractions. Like, just think of how I mean, that's the key to your success, I'm guessing, and to all, like, super high level performers is to remove distractions, right?
yeah, no, definitely is.
Like in your car is kind of like the perfect example. You just have a certain kind of car. You just have a Honda. You drive it. You keep your life simple. You come back. It's reliable. You don't have time for worrying about if it gets scratched or you need to be so relaxed that you can't be like, let's say it's before. If you're driving a fucking Lamborghini and you pull up and you walk out to your car and there's a shopping cart against it, maybe it fucks your whole training up. You see shopping cart against your Honda and you're like, fuck, that sucks. And you get in your car and you go to work and you go fight. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, just keep your life simple for your own success.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like I said, I think too the norm is a lot different, because I remember, I have tattoos, but I
Mhm.
remember back in the day, you had tattoos, you ain't getting a good job. Now the norm
Right.
is like it's okay to have tattoos, which I don't have a problem with that. I have tattoos,
Do you
but
wish you would have not gotten them? Does any part of
yeah,
you wish Oh, wow, interesting. I've heard that a lot, by the way. I'd say more people than not when I ask that say, "I wish I wouldn't have got it." Interesting.
Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have got them, but I got them. So,
Yeah.
I live with it, and but like I mean, like nowadays, back like I'm still old school. Like I like when I go out to like a dinner or something, I still like I don't show my tattoos. Like I wear
Mm,
long, like especially because I have tattoos on my forearms and stuff.
mhm.
I wear a long sleeve shirt. You know what I mean? Like I'm old school in that sense. Like yeah, when I'm around my house or around friends, family, yeah, I have shirts like this. But when I even go to my business, I try my best to cover them up.
Mm.
Just that's the way the time I was raised. Like and there's nothing wrong with it. Like just the way I was raised. So, but that's starting to become the norm. The norm starting to become the not norm. It's starting to become the norm. Is starting the boundaries have been pushed little by little every so often. Like I remember, like you said, like people couldn't have nose rings and you know piercings in the eyebrows, things like that. They used to have to cover it up.
Yeah.
You see people wear band-aids over there or band-aid over here. Like
Yeah.
nowadays that's normal. So for me, like I'm still old school. So for me, like I like to keep everything very simple and like the way I like it. I'm not a big fan of change.
Hey, do you love training? Are you like sweating? Like, is this going to be a hard couple weeks for you, or
Oh, this is gonna
a
be
month?
a hard, yeah, hard couple. Hard like hopefully not knock on wood. Hopefully it's only a month, but it's gonna be a hard time because I'm at the gym 24/7. Like my training schedule doesn't change. Maybe the sparring changes because I really don't spar unless my teammates are there all the time for me and at the gym all the time. If they're like, hey, I need sparring, I'll spar with them. But I train all the time. I'm training people. I'm literally at the gym. Like I've always had a job. Like people like, oh, when I fought for the title, like people always. I've always had a job. When I was fighting, I was training. I was doing my training. I was teaching two wrestling classes a week, plus two cardio kickboxing classes a week, on top of maybe one or two private lessons a week, on top of training twice a day. That's just the way I've operated. I've always like I don't want to lose that because then when fighting is over, it's hard to go back to like having go back to working. But if I never lose it, I can't say I have to go back. So for me, making extra money working, it's very important to me because, like I said, like as crazy as it sounds, those are skills that people lose. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
if you take 2 weeks off of work, you go back to work. You're like, oh, I don't want to be here. I'm not used to used to sleeping in and
Look
stuff.
at
For me,
Connor. Look at Connor.
yeah,
He,
it's for
he
me, it's
took
all
too
about
many.
work.
He took too many days off. And I'm guessing just sweating and the clarity of mind and working hard, like pushing your body, like it's an important part of your psychological health to push yourself really hard every day to where you're
I, I
panting.
I tell people all the time, like, I got the best job in the world. I get to fucking punch people in the face for a living.
Mm,
Why do you think I'm so mellow? You think it's because I'm mellow? Like, nah, it's usually because I get to punch people in the freaking face.
yeah.
Get to hit things, get to wrestle, get my aggression out, get things like that. I think that definitely plays a big toll into a big buy into why I'm so mellow. You know what I mean? I have my days where I'm an asshole, but 90% of the time I'm pretty mellow. Like if you get me to that asshole point, you must have done something that really pissed me off, because I'm pretty hard to piss off. But I think for me that's gonna be the hardest part. I'm already dying. Like I'm pushing the limit right now, even just walking as much as I am. Because my leg would be sore, it hurts, or like bending it, because they gave me exercises to do. And they're like, do it 3 times a day. I'm doing it 4 or 5 times a day, and my leg's sore. I'm like, oh man, But that's just
Yeah.
in my mindset. Like, I want to get back. I want to do this, and I need something to do. Like, I can't chase after my son right now. Like, if
Yeah.
that guy wants to take off running right now, he's gonna beat me 100%. So, it's definitely gonna be hard for me. I'm always at the gym. I'm always doing something. I'm always on the go. People always laugh at me, even they like, man, you're up early. Even during fight week, I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I just I'm just that's the kind of person I am. I'm always want to go. I want to rest when I'm done fighting.
Mm,
My goal is to retire by the time I'm 40.
mm,
Is that gonna happen? Maybe. I want to retire by the time I'm 40, or not work as hard by the time I'm 40. So when my son is wrestling, my son
mm,
is doing a sport, I can be like, hey, I'm gonna take this weekend off. I'm gonna go see my son, watch those events, go do all that, spend as much time as him. So right now I'm working as hard as I can. So when he's 10, he's 3 years old. So by the time he's 10, 11 years old, starts competing at a high level, I can go to those things without having to be like, oh, you know what, I can't take time off because I need money, I need this. That's why I'm setting up my future now to get to that. So that's my mindset. I think that's why I work so hard, and that's why I think this time and period is gonna be so hard for me because I can't really do anything. I might be able to do some private lessons, but even then, it's hard when I can't show you what to do.
Right.
So it's definitely gonna be a learning curve for sure.
Hey, is Kelly Slater's wave pool in your hometown?
Yep, and Lemoore, California.
Have you been there?
I haven't. I'm not a big surfer, but I at Lemoore. A lot of people don't know that that's where WEC was originated. If
Oh,
you go watch back when they had like that
like in the
triangle,
50s? Like in
it
1953 or 56, whatever?
man, it was in the 90s, I believe,
Oh, it was in the night?
2000s, 2000s. Yeah, when WEC was yeah, 2000s.
I'm confusing it with WWE.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're confused there.
Yeah.
There, yeah. WEC is where like the old school where like Uriah Faber and all those guys fought in. That was in my hometown before Zuffa bought them out. So a lot of people don't know that rich history of MMA in my town. So
Crazy. You ever see Kelly around?
no, I haven't seen them. I haven't gone home in a while because I've been so busy. But for the 4th of July, we're going back, hang out. Taking my son to go see my mom and them, and my brother and my nieces. Just go out there, have a good time. I got time now, so
Yeah.
take advantage of it.
Can you drive with that leg?
Yeah, I can drive. I can drive. I can't like I have to like when I'm walking, I have to remember to bend my knee. I can't act like I have a peg leg.
Yeah.
You know. So like little things like that. Basically learning how to rewalk. It's kind of like the biggest thing right now, just because not because I forgot how to walk, but I want to baby it.
Yeah.
So I gotta do all that stuff. So like I said, like it's good signs that I'm walking and stuff like that. They're even impressed. At the PI, they were impressed with that. Like, hey man, you're responding very well to this. Like I said, we'll find out today when I talk to him what's going on in the knee.
Hey, dude, I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your internet just only got better. Usually in the beginning of the show, I was like, oh, we're fucked. We're fucked.
Yeah,
But
out here and out here because I'm out here in Norwalk right now, with my son and them. So I hear the service is kind of like, eh.
well, hey, it pulled through. It's great meeting you. Thanks for I know you know what's funny too. I was so embarrassed. I pocket dialed you twice in a row.
Yeah. No, you're good, man. I appreciate you having me. It's fun getting on here and talking to you.
All right, I got you my Google alerts. I'm a huge Alex Perez fan. Thank you so much, dude.
No,
And I'll
man.
be in
Thank
touch.
you.
Thank you, and congratulations on the beautiful kid and great family, dude. You're a good dude.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, ciao.
Later.
Alex Perez. Wow, Alex, love your hair. Oh, too late. Can't we just have one guest you don't make fun of? All I want to hear about is CrossFit, CrossFit, CrossFit. It's crazy that this show can have only 100 live listeners, and you have a guy who's at the top of his game, fought for the title, fought Alex Pantoja, talking to the greatest interviewer who's ever walked planet Earth, Sevan Matosian. And there's 104 people who listen, and they'd rather just hear the same bullshit instead of maybe glean something off of someone who's a fucking crazy success. Janelle, what's up, girl? Chris, what's up? Mr. Delap. Oh my God, Kenneth, I have to send you your slag box. Jesus Christ. I'm driving out to Sunnyvale this morning. I'm dreading it a little bit. Um, I'm dreading it a little bit. Hey, you know what's so cool about that dude, Alex Perez? Is last night he's like, "Hey, can I get a link?" And he's like, "Oh, I want it now so I can check to see if it works." And like 2,000 guests in, no one's ever said that. Like no one ever gives a shit enough to check to see if it works. Dildo. Maybe you did hear your name. My God. Olivia. Not all of us want to hear about CrossFit. Some people just want to see me naked. Yes, I'd love to see you naked. How does Matoothian taste? Oh, look at that family. That looks fun. What are you guys doing? Jeez, that Christmas tree is huge. Is that in someone's house? Who uses Facebook? Is Facebook still around? It tastes great. I love it. My kids love it. My kids only use it. The other day, there was I actually set it up on purpose. I set the tube of toothpaste and Matoothian out on the counter, and then I went in there with my son Joseph. I'm like, "Hey, you want to brush your teeth for bed?" He's like, "Yeah." And I handed him the tube, and he set it on the counter and grabbed the Matoothian. I was like, "Yeah, boy, that's my boy." It's kind of acquired. Some people think it's too salty. I love the saltiness. I don't even hardly taste it anymore. And you have to kind of get used to the powdery thing, but there's this like sensation that it's actually cleaning your teeth that like you don't get from toothpaste. So, a Facebook listener. Yeah, crazy, right? Patrice Polta. Sounds like a famous chess player. I'm better. I'm good. Pray.com. I just learned about that. What does it say? Make prayer a priority. Let me see if I have anything funny in here in my live call-in notes. Oh, not really. I don't know. What is this? We already looked at that. What's that lady? What's the lady's name who hated CrossFit? She was the workout girl. I think she was on America's Biggest Loser or something. Oh, how about this? I'll show you guys this. Look at this. Oh, I thought I felt an earthquake. Do you guys remember the show when there was an earthquake? When I was in my office and there was an earthquake? That was wild. Oh, thought I felt a little earthquake just now. Okay. Okay, look at this. Fan runs into the field in Cincinnati, does a backflip, and then gets tased by security. Jesus, that's too loud. Here we go. Look at does a backflip, and then look, tases him. Bam. Now I want you to think of all the crazy shit. So you're telling me that someone can run out onto a field where a bunch of people are playing baseball, do a backflip, and get tased. But if a cop pulls someone over and you tell them to put their hands on the steering wheel and they reach over into their glove box, you can't shoot them. Sorry. Sorry. I'm not saying you do shoot them, but I'm saying like everything I see, like you're telling me when those people approached the Capitol building on January 6th, you couldn't just open up water cannons on them and just blasted them, just blast them. You're telling me that in Minnesota, where was it? During the George Floyd riots, you're telling me when those people fucking tore down the chain link fence at the police station, you can't open fire on them? You can't open fire on people who are attacking a building with the people in it who are supposed to protect us? There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way it's okay. That's if you can tase someone for running out onto a grass, I mean, there's that guy is right now no threat. There's a fucking 50,000 people watching him in person. Isn't it a private versus public issue? So like that guy's like in someone's house right there, so you can shoot him if you feel threatened. I don't know. Oh, Jake Chapman, speaking of cannons, have we checked on Greta recently? Man, I'd love to play that if I knew where that was at. God, that made me so happy. Did anyone else enjoy that as much as me? I loved that. Stephen Flores, we've entered the unhinged rants part of the show. I think that if you jump on the hood of a police car, the cop can roll down the window and shoot you. I think it's totally fine. I think if a crowd of 20 people surround a cop car and stop it from moving, I think the cop, if he feels threatened even a little bit, he can run the people over. I just do. I'm paying those. I work hard and trick you guys into giving me money, and then some of that money that you guys give me, like half of it, I give to put cops on the street to protect my kids. They have to protect my family. Yeah, fair. Thank you. Yeah, it's totally fair. Taser versus gun. But that's my point. That's what I'm saying. Why can you tase that guy's not doing anything. That guy's just running across the field. People are upset because he's interrupting the game and interrupting like what? Like everyone there, first of all, everyone there loved it. Well, everyone loved the tasing part too. I mean, it's fun watching him get tased. The whole thing is like adds value to the game. None of those people there at that game ever remember that game if it wasn't for this guy getting tased. It's like the time that you were in line at McDonald's and you shit your pants. That's the only time you're ever going to remember being at McDonald's because you shit your pants. I agree with the cop stuff, just not the private venue comparison. What do you mean? Explain that to me. I'm just saying that relative, if you're going to tase a dude for running onto a baseball field, then soon as someone starts like, what if I saw someone pouring gasoline around my house, like on my fence in my front yard? I think I can just shoot them. Definitely if they pour gasoline and then I see them light a lighter. I mean, I got fucking 3 kids here and my wife, right? What if the gasoline made a ring around my house and I couldn't get out and we all died? It was a chick they tased? I know. No chick can do a backflip like that. That's not chick. Oh, hey, that dude has a baseball glove on. That's funny, I think. Yeah, exactly. My entire family is law enforcement. Yeah, they need to come home. You can't fuck with cops. Oh yeah, a taser is less force. Going hands on, it sucks for 5 seconds, then it's over. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Whatever. I hear you, but first of all, that guy's head bounced off the ground when he landed, when he got tased. Watch when he gets tased. Boom. Zzz. Boom. Oh no, his shoulder kind of hit the ground first, and his head kind of flopped. Anyway, I'm just saying you can't fuck with cops at all. Zero. The shit I see on the internet, it's so fucking crazy. Meanwhile, Rittenhouse is being charged for. They try to get him for a guy. Wow. Fortune.com did an article on High Rocks. They better hurry up and sell High Rocks. It's toast. The only thing they had going for it was Hunter. Oh, please. I'm not reading this article. All right. I'm making sure I go home every day. Yeah. Good. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna sit in my car now for an hour. I'm taking my kids to Sunnyvale. The professional skater they skate with is I think he's moving to Texas. Crazy, right? So he's going for a month to scout out Texas to see if he wants to move there. So we're skipping surf camp to get in one final session with this dude. He's so fucking cool. You want to see his website? What is it? Josh Brolin skate YouTube. Oh, maybe it's not Josh. What's his last name? Josh. Skate lessons. Is it skate lessons? Oh, skate park lessons. This is the guy. You know what's crazy is he's nothing like he is on his YouTube. He's very serious.
Lessons. I'm JB, and I've been a pro skateboard instructor for over 20 years, and I'm
Yeah, that's the skate park my kids skate at. My wife's gonna be so pissed. I think my kid's in some of these videos. Let me see if I can find one. Intro. I don't know. Oldest. How do you videos? Popular. Let's go by his most popular. Ollie's. God, 711,000 views. Damn. Anyway, yeah, he's got a cool YouTube station. Oh yeah, I sit on that bench all the time. Look at that. That's the bench I sit on. Anyway, if you want to hang out, I'll be at the skate park in Sunnyvale. There's no one there. It's going to be hot as shit. I'm bringing a hat. I hate him. Blow me. He's so fucking cool. Oh, you hate Hunter. Oh. I do pick trash up at that skate park too. I walk around. I get every skate park. Skate parks around here are so clean anyway. That skate park's really clean. I was actually at that skate park one time and I saw Air Force One fly in. Basically I don't know, I could have hit it with a BB gun. And then I saw three of the whatever the helicopters are called. I saw three of the helicopters come. And then it brought and then Biden got on the helicopters and then flew to Santa Cruz, back to where I live. Are you guys tripping on the debates? Oh my God, kill Taylor tomorrow. Holy shit. Is tomorrow Saturday? Oh my God. Oh my God. I gotta see the calendar. I can't even believe it. Oh my God. Kill Taylor tomorrow. Oh my God. All right. That's cool. Okay. Love you guys. Maybe I'll come on tonight. You guys want to hang out tonight a little bit? Shoot the shit. What a crazy video. Hiller's last video. It's crazy because it's the shit that I feel like I talk about incessantly. And then he makes that video. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, of course. I mean, it's everywhere. I don't. If you want to see here, listen. If you want to see something just absolutely nuts, watch the video I just posted. I ripped it, or go to James O'Keefe's account. I don't care. Go to James O'Keefe's account and watch what he did with Disney. It's a 20-minute video. You'll put it on and just drive somewhere. You won't even believe the crazy racism going on at Disney. It's nuts. Yeah, Hiller's getting hundreds of comments on every post now. Yeah. I know, he's on fire. It seemed out of character for him to at least I thought some of the subject matter that he's doing I thought was out of character for him, but you know, we're what as a man grows, so do his interests. As a man grows, his penis gets harder. Wow, 26,000 views on this last one. Peptide for Dummies, 14,000. CrossFit Insider explains why you don't need HQ, 25,000. Yeah, he's killing. He's the Alex Perez of CrossFit videos. The Daniel Garrity, yes, the coming of age story of a young YouTube sensation, Andrew Hiller. Okay, guys, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Kill Taylor. Make sure you're here. Support the show. Even if you're not going to watch it, just turn it on and let me get the views. Be a good boy and girl. Love you guys, especially you, Jethro. Talk to you soon.